Hello again, chaps and chapettes, how are we all doing? It is lovely to see you all again. As always, I thought I'd quickly run through this very short article I've found on the Daily Mail, my friends, and just have a bit of a deep dive as to why this happened and what the frame of mind was with the two women involved in this article. Basically, what's happened is there was a Sky News reporter in Nuneaton interviewing a local businessman, a brown gentleman, when two local ladies interrupted the interview and gave this man a load of verbal abuse. And like I say, I just wanted to look a bit deeper as to why this happened and why I personally think that incidents such as these are going to become much more frequent in the very near future. Two women have been arrested in Nuneaton after a businessman allegedly received a torrent of racist abuse during a TV interview. Local business owner Zahin, 32, was being interviewed by Sky News about the divide in the town over attitudes towards asylum seekers. Now that, guys, is point number one. He had only just started to speak, stating his age, when he was seemingly interrupted by two women. The footage then shows Zahin subject to racial abuse, with one person reportedly being pushed. My God, shock horror, someone's being pushed. It's a hell of a lot better than having a bladed implement pumped into your chest, wouldn't you say? A 30-year-old woman and another woman aged 43 have been arrested on suspicion of a public order offence. The 43-year-old was also arrested on suspicion of racially aggravated common assault. In the footage, a woman holding a glass of beer moves in front of the camera while shouting towards Zahin. A second woman then appears to make comments about religion before adding, "That's the issue we're having with yous in our country. You're R-wording our kids." Now that is point number two. The first woman then shouts, "Dirty animals that swing in trees and eat bananas," followed by "Save our kids." Following the confrontation, Zahin told the Sky News team, "I love this town," but said he thinks he was targeted because they thought he was a Muslim. Now that, my friends, is point number three. For them to accuse us of a crime, that's unfair, that's unjust, he said. Nuneaton has been the home for a number of anti-immigration protests in recent weeks. Quizzed about how he feels about the demonstrations, Zahin said he supports people's rights to protest in general. "We have a right to protest for whatever cause we want to. That's the beauty of living in England," he said. "That is indeed a blessing and a curse, particularly when pride marches and pro-Palestine marches fall under the same umbrella as patriotic marches. I really don't like that." Speaking about the fault lines running through Nuneaton, Zahin said there is a need to build community and open dialogue. "Right now, I don't think we're part of a community, it's more like size." Now, I've spoken about this on numerous occasions on my channel, my friends. When people emigrate to this country or break into this country, they taper off and make their own little enclaves, their own little ghettos, if you will, where they have their own shops, they have their own circle of friends, they have their own community, and they could go 5, 10, 15 years of living here and never once speaking to a white British person. You see, people who emigrate over here are quite tribal. They like to speak to themselves, they like to keep to themselves, they want their own little cut, they want their own little communities, and that's what you cannot have when you've got people emigrating into a country. You need to integrate, you need to speak to locals, you need to get to love thy neighbour, and that's never going to happen with a certain section of people who are moving into this country. Careful what you say, Daniel, nearly slipped up there. So, my friends, what I want to talk about really is why this happened and the frame of mind of these two young ladies here. Now, obviously, they were a little bit pissed up, it seems, drinking beer in the middle of the street, in the middle of the day, that kind of a thing, so that would have made certain feelings rise to the top. It would have just made them burst out because they're pissed up. You know what you like when you're pissed up? You get very gobby, you say things that you shouldn't say, especially in front of TV cameras, and that's what happened here. You see, on a daily basis, we see immigrants and illegal immigrants getting away with literal blue murder in the courts, you know, getting away with R words and essays and various other sick fucking crimes. And people see them getting away with these things and they start demonising people who have done nothing wrong. Do you understand where I'm getting at? Let me give you a little bit of an example here. I don't mean to go down the Nazi World War II route because I'm fucking fed up of doing this. It's so cliche, but it's similar to what Germany was going through. They were going through economic strife. There was starvation. There was lack of jobs. So someone needed to be demonised. And that's where the Austrian painter excelled. He put that onto the Jewish community. They needed someone to blame, and I think that's what's happening here. Because people are getting away with blue murder and R words and essays all the time, all these immigrants, people are looking to demonise anyone who hasn't got white skin. And I think this is going to increase and increase and increase and get more and more and more incidents such as these. The more this goes on, the more these people get let off with suspended sentences and community sentences for R-wording children and young teenage girls. It's just going to get worse and worse. The left wing and the media like to use the term far right. Well, I tell you what, guys, the longer this goes on, there will be a far right in this country, a proper far right. I'm talking about neo-Nazis, people walking around with swastikas. That will happen. It happened in the 80s and it will happen again the longer this goes on. That's just my feelings anyway, and that's what I think has happened here. These girls saw this gentleman, assumed he was a Muslim, assumed he was R-wording kids simply because he had white skin. And the reason for that is because they're getting away with it. And keep getting away with it, and living in communities and doing it within communities, and it's making people very angry. And the longer you keep up pent up aggression and pent up anger, the more chances you've got of the real far right breaking through the ranks. Do let me know what you think in the comments, my friends. Carpe diem as always, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.